right on the ball, and then, or on the cone, and then tie that small cone to the scent wall to teach them how to search. And then later you combine in the same place where is the small cone, you put the scent that they have to combine together. Or the other style is, you can take a piece of jar, or you can take a bowl that have a second layer, and you can put the scent in the second layer, and if they fly to the jar, if they fly to the scent, scent bowl, then you can add food, or you can click release. To teach them, if they sniff something that you want, you click release and give a lot of money. Right now, I'm more and more in direct reward. That means I prefer to throw immediately in the place they find. I like to throw the ball or throw the cone because that gives a lot of motivation for the dog to find there. I saw a lot of dogs, if I do click release, come back to me, they try to think if I have reward too much. But also you can have the same problem with throwing the cone if you don't know how to throw it. Because if you throw from the behind, the dog will start to anticipate, the ball is there, so what he will do? You will try to look, and then you throw by accident, and you're fucked. It is how it is. Everything that is going for your good moment, that can help you, also can fuck you later. It is how it is. So, and then later sit, or down, or stand, whatever you do, is to mark. It's here, it's there. Years later, we teach the green dog to do scratching and going inside. And that also was very good, to make them tougher to go into the scent. That was not so bad. The problem was to teach them later not to scratch too much, but to sit and stare. Because if you teach them to scratch, it's already there in the mind. And if there is a little problem, what they will do? They think what you teach them. So if I have a problem and you teach me to scratch, I will go for a scratch. With explosive, you don't want to have a dog that can scratch. You want the dog that will sit and stir, stand and stir. For the mind dogs, a lot of common exercise is to stand, just stop moving. And right now, because my country is next border to Ukraine, a lot of dogs from our place is going for mine detection there. And I have a lot of dogs that go in, green dogs, to go in there to find mines. So they prefer that the dog will go alone for a long meter and they stop without any help, without any leashes. The dog has to go for the straight line, 1 meter wide, for the straight line, for the 20, 30, 40 meters alone, and to find if there is something, you have to stop and just don't move. You go back, boom, you have to come back. Tracking object stamina. Tracking, that's something that right now I would love to. So, when I start first time doing the tracking, people tell me to do like the old style tracking. That means footstep, one piece of food. Footstep, one piece of food. Footstep, one piece of food. And after a while, you do 2 footsteps, another third one, piece of food. 4 steps, another 4th one. 5, and so on, and so on. You delay the reward in the footsteps. But after I start to understand what my teacher taught me, that it's not about the food in the ground. It's about teaching them how to sniff the scent, and the food can come after that you sniff. So right now we are doing tracking line. I put the footstep, I take my dog, and I teach him to sniff. And then I add the food. I add later after the dog will sniff something. Because if we go outside and I will show you my footstep on the ground, and you can sniff my footstep, and you can sniff a little bit further, you will feel the difference. Dog will feel the difference in 100%. So it's only to teach them what to find. And you can also do objects on the track. And that's something also I like. That means you are doing a lot of ignition on a small objects. I will just take what I have. Let's take this. And you can have like a small object, and you can teach your dog. Oh, a little bit more. I have a dog on the leash. You throw the object, and the dog, what will do a good high drive dog? What he will want to do after you throw? He wants to go, and he wants to grab it or kill it. He wants to take it. That's why I have my dog on the big leash, on the big collar, and he goes to the point, and right before he touches, I can throw the ball he loves. That is reward in that place, what that will create. Anticipation here, like that. And you will find a dog that ears are on the object. That's why I start to do a lot of click, release, come to me, I give money. Because if I do too much click, release, that gives motivation, that gives them a lot of energy, but also create hectic behavior sometimes. And they start to think about the object. They start to think about the reward next to me. So also at the end you have to have a balance. If you have a dog that is lazy, sometimes click release. But most of the dogs that they have high drive on the ball or high drive on the food, they're not lazy. Most of the time they are engaged in the job. And then later, if I do a lot of motivation on that small object, and then later I have to be small as my, how to call it?
Fingernail?
Fingernail. If they are so small like my fingernail, the dog will look for it harder. If it's a small object, they have to sniff harder. If the object is quite big, he will see it from the distance. He will not sniff anymore. But if the objects are very small, they will be engaged in the track. And if the object is small and you combine the object with a high value motivation, they will fight for it. They will die for it. And then later, on your track, you just leave objects with your scent. That's why I like to have like small pieces of metal. Because small pieces of metal, it's easy to have your scent on it. So if I go for a track, I take few small pieces of metal in my hand, I just rub them a little bit, have them in my pocket, and I just leave it on my track. And dog will combine this together. If you reward on the objects on your track, he will also love the track. Because on the track, there is objects, and he will start to sniff your track to find the objects. And of course, at the end, it can be in the future, somebody hide in the sleeve with the sleeve. Somebody hide with the suit. It's no problem. But if you do too fast to hide so high motivation at the end, what dog will do? He will anticipate from the beginning that at the end is biting. You think he will track? No fucking way. He will go immediately, I hate that track, I want to go bite. So at the end, if he understands tracking, if he understands bite, if he understands bark, hold and out, if he understands search in the area for somebody to bark, then you can combine everything together. We like to train small pieces separately, ABCs, and then later put them together. It can take you one training to put all pieces, one training, and it's done. But if you go too fast, too far from the beginning to the X, Y, Z, it's done. It's very difficult to go back. It's much harder. So it's good, no rush. And that's something very common also in people that want to have a dog in law enforcement. You don't have time. Is that correct? You have to go tomorrow. You have 1 month, then you have to go. You have a call tomorrow, you have to go. That's why I am a dog trainer. I'm not a police not a military. I'm a dog trainer. My job is to prepare the dog. If he goes to a handler, he has to be ready for tomorrow. That's something different. That's something else. And we make it already a lot of times. Because dog trainers are passionate about it and they know how to do it. I saw a lot of good dog trainers that can prepare the dog for the real job also. But that's not the green dog. The green dog is a crazy about bite and track. This type of dogs, what I like, is different. Then, sending direction and laser work. And sending direction is something that my father think about it, because we like to send the dog for a long, long distance, also on the radio, also on the camera, without us next to him. And at the end, he can do few things. If he has a camera, it's already good that he goes and show me what is there. But for that, you can also have a drone, so that's the same. So at the end, I can have a dog that I can send him directly somewhere to sniff or somewhere to search for a bad guy. It depends what the job is. If you have a smart dog, you can go immediately, now search. After 5 minutes, you have to go and find a bad guy. That's not a problem. If they're smart, they will figure it out. If you do ABCs before, they will find a solution. And the laser also, when there is a dart, it's good to have a dog that you can show him with the laser immediately where to go, where is the point. Okay? So that's very common skills right now with these dogs, that to send them on the long distance without our help. Then obedience. And in obedience, it's not only about have fun with the dog, but there is few exercises that you have to have under control, even if there is a lot of environmental stress around. Left heel, right heel, between the legs, middle, come back, sit down, stand, hold out, bark, quiet. For me, that's the main exercise you have to have in the real world. Because sometimes the dog, if you are left hand, it's good to have a dog on the right side. If you have a gun in the other hand, it's good to have a dog on the left side. Sometimes when it's very tight in the buildings, it's good to have a dog in the middle. When you send the dog to go and find and search on the 100 meters, you have to call him back to come to you. If you have a dog that you sent him to fight, he has to out and come back to you. I cannot imagine that my dog cannot out. For me, it's even for the training, it's so much stress to don't have an out command. I saw too many things that we want to all the time, how to say, take the air out, choke them until they're, and they still want to fight. I hear from the different special forces units that a lot of times they have something like malitatu. That means they don't have a control on the training, they don't have a control on the high drive, and if the dog is all the time in the high drive, he will bite whoever he can. He doesn't care. He will bite the person next to him. That's why these guys is calling that malitatu in the ass. I don't want that. I don't want that this team have malitatu. You can have a crazy dog in the bite, but also under control. It's possible. Today we have so much knowledge. Today we have so much skills. We have so much tools that we can make a dog to do on the command whatever you want from them to do. He can bite. He can be a real vicious animal. But the same dog, he can out and come back to you and he's still friendly. Especially with the team around you. Because the dog that bites your friend next to you, it's a worthless dog. I don't want this dog next to my team. That's impossible to be confident with this dog around you. And why we have a dog around us? To be more confident. Okay? Because they know how to do the job. But we have to teach them when. Then later, physicality, jumps, and condition. It's something that I already says. And the dog should be also environmentally stable on different objects, on high tables, on the high stairs, and different type of objects. They have to feel very comfortable, even if there is difficult surfaces. That's why the big point of every dog we have is socialize them. To teach them not only to work, but to be ready to work in different environments. And then there is a last, like I already said, rest, switch on and off. Why we have to switch on and off? Because you cannot be on the high adrenaline all the time without the problems at the end. You have to have a dog. If you say sit, you have to wait. If you say down, you have to wait. You have to be quiet. You have to be calm. If you say bark, you have to be ready. That's the end product. You have to have a switch on and off. It's not only about go, 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 go. That's nice for videos, but that's not good for the real world. It's good to have a cold dog next to you, crazy dog when he goes for a bike research. To have a balance. And we as a people, we know how difficult it is to have a balance in life. Because if we are obsessed in something, like I was obsessed in dog training, I didn't have a life. For me, only one goal is from the morning to the night, train the dogs, that's it. But because of that, my friendships, my relationships doesn't work. Because I only think about the work. Is the same with the dog. It's good to have a dog that is crazy to do the job, but it's not good for the brain. You don't have a time for rest, for switch on and off. And I know that dogs for law enforcement, it's not only for 5 minutes work. It's day in, day out. Every day, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours. Sometimes dogs have to walk for special forces for 20 hours to do 10 minutes. That's why they have to have switch on and off. It's not all the time full gasoline. Okay, and now if we have a plan, if we know from the dog what he has to do at the end, then we can start to search for that dog. So of course, everybody knows from us here that it's about good genes. It's selections. It's selection the dog that we know he will be ready. And that's also not easy. So, I know from the breeding side that in the first day, in the first 20-30 minutes, when the puppies are born, they will show you already the character. They will show you genetics. You will see 4 different types of puppies when they are born. First puppy that you are looking for, even if they are going out from the female, they immediately want to go to eat as fast as possible. They are in the, how do you call it?
Sack.
In the sack. And still in the sack, they want to go to eat. They want to survive. They are very strong. And that's the dog that we are looking for. Second type of dog is, they are out from the sack because mother did that. And they go as fast as possible, but not so fast as the previous one. And then the third one is that they are a little bit whiny. What the hell is going on around? They don't know how to find a fast way to go to mother to eat, to survive. They doesn't have that good genes. They are going around and so on and so on and so on. And what people most of the time do? They help.
Yeah.
Because this puppy is 2,000 euro. No, this puppy is shit. Go home. Look for a home. Regular home, not the working line. Because if he shows that already from the first hour, he will show that after a long time. It's always for us the same. And then there is a fourth one that they don't even want to move too much. They just lay and whine. help, help, help. And most of the breeders, what they do? They help. 1 day help, 3 day helps, 4 day helps, and even after a few days, they can die. Because if there are not genetics to survive, they will not survive even if you help. That's why we, as a breeders, me and my father, we are trying only to give our female only a place where there is no wind, and the rest we kept for the nature. The selection will be the best from the nature. We don't use a special lamp with the heat. We don't use a special food to give them to be bigger, to be stronger. We cannot make them stronger. They have to figure it out. If there are genes, we can select them. That's it. That's why a good breeder is a tough one. Is a tough breeder. There is no place for emotions. Of course, if from 10 puppies, 10 will survive, perfect. But from that 10, you have to know which one is good and which one is only for the love. Because they are still very good puppies, but they are not ready for their work. And in the first day, you can already see that. And then we have a step that we can do something, and it's called biotus, neurological stimulation. And that's 5 exercises you can do with the puppies to make them stronger in the body. I will take something. Yeah, let's take that power. So the first exercise is, if that's the head of the puppy, I will take this puppy for 3 to 5 seconds with the head up. Then second exercise is to take the puppy with looking up like this. And then third exercise is to take puppy like this. Then on the 5th exercise, I'm taking a wet, how to say it, wet cloth, whatever, wet piece of sheet, whatever. And I place my puppy on something wet. Then for the 5 seconds, I'm taking, how we call it, with the ear, Q-tip, yes. You can take a Q-tip and you brush a little bit on the paws from the inside. 3 to 5 seconds. And you have 5 exercises for 5 seconds for every puppy. It's like 5 minutes maximum. And you can make the blood flow better. You can make them stronger physically and neurologically. If it's 100%, no, nothing is 100%. But it helps. And if this can help, and I can do it for free, I will do it. That's it. Most of the time we think that if something is for free, it's not worth it. Do you like to breathe? We need breathe. We need air to survive. It's for free. It's the same with this type of training. That stimulation, they are saying that biotus, it helps in 70%. So that's still a high score. That can help. And then later we are going, and neurological stimulation we do between 2nd and 16th day. Then later we're done, we're not doing this, okay? Because then later the brain starts to work and they start to have a conditioning process. And between 2 and 4 weeks, they start to see, they start to hear, and they start to smell. And slowly they can start to eat very soft food. So you can prepare them later to be very independent. We try to give them food as fast as possible because I want to take my puppies from the female as fast as possible. I don't want my female to hurt. Because if I have Malinois, you know how the puppies can be brutal. If there is 10 puppies, 1 female, she doesn't want that. They are vicious, they are crazy. Yeah. So I want my female to keep healthy also for a longer time. That's why I go very fast with extra food. And if they start to see, hear, and smell, that's a moment for the first part of socialization with the puppies. It's much faster than 8 weeks. So in that moment, between 2 and 4 weeks, we start to bring more people inside the puppies to make them more social. We start to bring more dogs to be more social, to not be vicious to other dogs. We start to take them to different places. And different places, it's not to put the dogs in the car when they are 4 weeks and drive 100 kilometers. It just take them 5 meters further, 10 meters further, 20. That's enough. And if you do that as fast as possible, later you don't have a problem with adaptations. You don't have a problem with socialization. The breeder can do a lot of work for you, but the breeder are lazy. I know that. They are lazy. Why? Because we don't pay them too much for that. And I'm also a breeder, and I know that I'm at the end, and I have less money for that. So it's also about business. If you want to have a better dog, you also have to pay more. That's how it works. If you want to have a better car, new one, you have to pay more. That's how it works. So, if they start to eat a soft food, also I can have prepare the scent bowl. What does it mean? If I train dogs for explosive, I can have like a big bowl with the extra layer, and I can put in that layer a scent that they have to smell in the moment that they are eating the food, even if they are 2 weeks. I can imprint already, if they sniff explosive when they are 3 weeks, they will drive for that explosive, and then I will add food later. That makes strong. And if I have dogs that they are 4 weeks, if I have these puppies, I can take them to the new place and I can hide somewhere my scent bowl that is empty, without food. And they enter the field and there will be like 2, 3 of them. Oh, there is my scent. Boom. And if there is my scent, there will be my food. So I can condition this much faster. Between 4 and 6 weeks, it's imprinting, socialization, and play and drive. So that's the moment that we do more. We can start to teach them a little bit. It's not only about see, hear, and feel, but we can start to teach them something. Maybe a clicker, signal to reward. Maybe follow the person that have a food. Maybe whatever you want. I prefer to have a very strong signal. That's why if I can prepare between 2 and 4 weeks to start to eat a regular food and they are crazy on the food, later I can charge my clicker, my signal for the training for the later. If you charge a clicker when there is pack of puppies, it's not only about eating, it's about fighting and surviving. If you charge a clicker in the moment they have to fight and survive, it's much stronger. Just take a dog that doesn't have a food drive, just a little bit, give him another dog. What they will do? They will start to fight for it a little bit. It's like the same with us. If you put the guys, 10 people in one room to exercise, what we are doing? Oh fuck, you will not be stronger than me. Go, boom, 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 one more. It's the same with puppies, they fight for it. And later, if they hear the clicker, you condition not only a food, but the fight for the food. That's something else. That's different. Play and drives, and that's also the moment that we start to play with them and see if they want to bite and how they want to bite. So just try to see and develop as little as possible, because that's not the moment that you want from the puppy, that he will act as an adult. That's also a very common problem. We want from dogs too fast to act as an adult. It's not like that. We as a people, we also have certain age to act in certain ways. Then later there is a moment that one of us, when he is 18, he acts as an adult. But me, I start acting as an adult as 30. So everybody has different moments for that. And it's not the moment when you are 5. You feel too much stress later. It's the same with dogs. Too much pressure from the first moments, it's not good. You have to give them time for that. They have to grow. They have to be strong a little bit later. And I see that in Poland a lot in the sports with the kids. We have a lot of kids that play soccer, play football, play volleyball, play basketball. On the level till 18, they are champions. When they are 20, 21, they're done. Finished. And they never come back. Because there is too much pressure from all around in the young age. It's not about championships for the puppies. It's about being adult and work till the end. You have to give them time. Then, 2-3 months. First, what we do is separate puppies. So we take them from the whole litter and we put them in the places that they have to be alone. Learn how to learn. ABCs. Build strong drive. Learn how to learn is something that I love, like I told you. Because if the dog knows how to think, if he knows how to act, if he knows how to take in charge of everything around, it goes later faster and faster and faster. At the beginning, it will go slow. Why? Because they have to think. And as we people, we know that thinking, it hurts. Sometimes it's better that somebody will come and say, do this and that and that. It's better for us because we have command, boom, let's go. But to think, that hurts, especially at the beginning. Then later, it's easy. And for dog, it's also the same. But you have to be careful because some of puppies can be so smart that they will be smarter than you. Because training in operant way to make them smart, it's also a dangerous place. Because then later you go enter the training and they do 5 things, boom, 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 and you're not ready. And you're lost. Okay? But at the end, it's better to have ignition from the inside, from the dog, not from the outside, from you. Dogs should have ignition from the inside. It's the same like with people. If you push somebody, he will not go. But if you act and teach him to do it alone, he will do it. It's not about pushing. It's about, that's mine, I will drive. Taking responsibility for everything what you do. And we know as a people, as this, it's not easy. And with dogs it's the same, we have to teach them that. But that's also dangerous because we can create a very big ego. And you have to be ready to control that ego. But I know that here is much easier for people like you. Because if I train with regular people, it's not so easy. If the dogs have too much ego, they cannot squeeze it. But if you have a high ego with the dog, he will go. He will find a solution. But you have to also control that animal. It's not about having uncontrollable dog. It's about having a strong animal under control. That's a big fun at the end. Learn ABCs. And ABCs means do a small, simple steps. If you want to do a tracking, do a 1 footprint. If you want to do an object search for the object, do one object. If you want to do a good grip, just teach them to hold something. If you want them to go for a long distance, go for a 1 meter. Do a small ABCs and then later put them together, not too fast. Too many people go to the trap, they go very fast in early age, and the dog is 1 year old and they finish. They don't want to go anymore. Because you have to create gasoline all the time. motivation is not something that you have, it's something what you do. 3 to 5 months intensive socialization and training, change handler. And that's something that my previous teacher, Jiri Shtuchka, taught me years before I started to train dogs for special forces. He said to me that very good for the socialization and to have a very strong, independent dog is to change a handler when they are young. Because if my dog only knows me as a handler, and then later I sell this dog to some units, he will be lost. But if he change handler in his life 2, 3, 4, 5 times, he adapts very fast. He doesn't care who is there. He knows that he has to do the job. And if the dog knows how to adapt, later everything is easy. You just say, come on, boom, we're out, and you have to go. That's why in our program we always give between 3 and 5 months our puppies to somebody else. But they also have to have the skills to raise them. It's not only go and do nothing. Sometimes for some dogs it's good, but they have to be very similar in what you do. It's good to have the same system of training. That's very nice to have. Because if there is no system, I also have few times something like this, the dogs are fucked. 2 months and they are done. Three and 5 months, that's the first symptoms of fear. And not every dog have this, but most of the time you have the first symptoms. If you go 100 times in the same place, then the 100th time and one, there is a moment they will be afraid of the chair that they saw already something. So also you have to be ready that there is a moment to don't push too much. That's the good moment to straighten the dog, to make him ready for the future, to pull on the big collar more, to be on the chain, to feel okay with the pinch collar, to feel okay with the whip, to feel okay with the more noises, to feel okay with the stick, to feel okay with the choker, with other different types of tools to prepare them for the future. That's for me the good moment to start to prepare them for the future. It's not about having a better behavior, it's about having a stronger dog. It's the same with you. If you go for the gym, it's not only about technique, it's also about if somebody put a pressure on you to make you feel okay with the higher and higher pressure. If you go for a kickboxing, you never make a kicks, what do you have to do? You have to strengthen your chins. Is that correct? Yes. Yes? Because you kick once, boom, and then you're done. But if you strengthen your body, you condition your body to feel okay with the more pressure, then later it's easy. Then later you can go and you can fight. That's correct? It's the same with the dog. If you want to put more pressure in the future with that type of dog, he has to be ready. You have to prepare your dog for that. And it's good to know how the tool works. But for this, it's later. 8 to 12 months. Putting ABCs together. Let the dog win a lot. Make him strong by fighting for something. That means if you create motivation for something, it's not only about go and do, it's about fighting for it. And a lot of people knows how to do a fight for a bite. But they don't know how to do a fight for, I don't know, click something, for a clap line. How to do a fight for go for us. How to do a fight to come here. How to do a fight for healing. How to do a fight for other behaviors. It's easy to do a fight for motivation. It's easy for a fight to do a fight for biting, for a toy, for a comic, for whatever you do, for a food. It's easy. But to make a dog crazy, to do some exercise, to do some behavior, and fight for that behavior, That's a different level. And that's for me, if I have a lot of ABCs already there, I can put this a little bit further. Not only do, but to fight for it. And for that, I need big collar or harnesses. I need something that is very comfortable. Okay? 12 to 6 months, build endurance, fitness, and again, change a handler. I trained a lot with my father. And my father loves to do ABC. My father loves to have a control with the dog. Me personally, yes, I like to do ABCs, but I like to give a lot of freedom to the dogs. That's me personally. And there is a moment that together with my father, we know that together we're much better trainers. Alone, we have some point that we are not good at. And if we change our dogs with each other, they're fantastic. Because my dad knows how to squeeze and I know how to open. And that's very good to know that you are not perfect in everything what you do. Maybe there is somebody that is better. And you have to say that is better. It's not about our ego. It's about having the best dog that you can have. And for that, I know, and my father knows, that is the best moment to change. He respects me, I respect him. He knows I'm good at something, and I'm suck in something. And opposite. That's why we love to train, not alone, but also together. We see more. We know more. We open more for a different type of training. And we are much better trainers after that. 16 to 24 months, slowly dog is ready to train with the group, with the more people, with changing environments, to prepare him for the real work. I saw a lot of dogs. They try to do this type of training when the dog is 5 months. It's not good. You cannot go to the academy when you are 5. It's not working. You will kill the old gasoline that is inside. You will kill the ego. It's not about this. It's about creating a strong dog and then later put more and more and more and more pressure when he is ready. Sometimes 16 months, it's still not this age. It's still too fast. So we have to understand when the dog is ready. Longer searching, longer tracks, bites on different decoys in different situations. So that's the moment that we change a lot around us. We change environments, we change the schema that we built before, we change the places that the dog will bite, we change the tracks, not only on one person, but 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I have a program like that, I know what to do and when. Is it 100%? No. Nothing in the world is 100%. Nothing. Is 99? More and more I think about it, it is. And before we start the training, we also have to ask a few questions to us. First, what type of trainer I am? And like I told you, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm bad at. Right now, I'm focused on dog training so much on ABCs, on doing heel and ride and bite. I don't have time for socialization. I have to have somebody that will social my dogs for me. So also I need to understand what type of training I do. Maybe I'm good in biting, but I'm not good in searching. Maybe somebody is better on searching. Sometimes I have to focus myself on the things that I'm not good at. That's the type of person I am. I like to keep a lot of focus on something that I'm bad at, because that will make me much better trainer. What tools I can use? Is a big collar, is a knee collar, is a harness, is a ball, is a cone, is a clack, is a clicker, is a marker, is a food, is a dry food, wet food. What tools I can use? How I can use them? what skills I have to have. And that's something that I am thinking more and more in last 2 years, I think. Because to have a better dog, you have to be a better trainer. You have to be a better handler. You have to be a better than you were yesterday. And that's what I like when I found a person, like I told you in the first few sentences, Jim Quick, learn how to learn. I know that I will be better trainer if I will be more focused in what I'm doing. I don't want to have a phone next to me because my focus will go more and more to my phone than to my training. I know that I will be better maybe if I train alone. I know maybe I will be better if I make a video of my training that I'm focusing on, and then I come back, and then I see what I did wrong. I can learn faster. What I have to do to learn faster? Maybe I have to eat better. Maybe I have to drink more water. There is some things that are for free that we can do that makes us better. And it's not only take a dog and throw the ball. It's everything what you do daily in the life. Dog training is a lifestyle. And if you want to be better, you have to also focus on you. Maybe I have to go to the gym more. Because our muscles, when they are moving, our brain is trained in the movement the best. Our brain is 2% of our mass of the body, but our brain needs 20% of the energy that you give to your body. And the fucking important thing is there. So you have to invest there. Maybe you have to sleep more. I don't know. What I have to do to raise dog well. And for that, I give you a whole program, whole plan, how I see that. You can take it or you can leave it. You can take 5%, 1%. I will be happy that I will give you a little bit of ideas. That's it. I will never change your world, but I want to give you idea how I do it. How the dog thinks. So, to be a better trainer, I have to know how the dog thinks, how they learn. Classical conditioning, operant conditioning, how it works. What tools I can use. If I do shaping or luring, if I do direct reward or indirect reward, what I use and how it works. How they learn, how the dog thinks, and then last is, who the fuck is that judge? That's something my wife left me, I think. That's a little bit joke. I know that guy. You know this guy? In US? I think he's from England. Who cares?
He's not a dog trainer.
Yeah. And then later, I know that I have to have a system. And the system I found is the best that works for me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it's a Nepal dog training system. That's something that, like I said, is a lifestyle. It's not only about the doing, but how you do. It's learn how to learn. It's about having a very good bond. It's about tools, how you can use it, what tools you have, how they work. On cue with heart and soul. So, it's also about doing the behavior, but with heart and soul. And to have a heart and soul, you cannot press the dog to do a heart and soul. It has to go from the inside out. The heart and soul have to go from the inside, from the dog. That's why you have to raise them in a good way. You have to wait until the heart and soul will come out. Why the dog does do something. To better his own situation. He doesn't give a fuck what you do. He cares what he can have. That's it. That's only one thing they think. How he can make his own situation better. By adding nice feelings, So to feel better, I will go. If I'm thirsty, I go to the water to feel better. But because I'm thirsty, it starts to have like a small discomfort in my throat. It starts from the small discomfort here. And to take this discomfort away, a small one, I have to move. I will do something to take that discomfort away. It's the same like with my shoes, will not fit to my feet. Or I can have too small shoes and it will hurt. What I will do? Fuck my shoes, I don't want them. But if the shoes is a little bit smaller than have to be, it's so small discomfort that maybe if I play soccer, it helps me. Because I will move more. I will play better. I will feel better. The ball next to my feet. So he will make his better situation to go to the places when there is good, and he will make his situation better to avoid discomfort. And he can avoid a small discomfort by changing the behavior, or he can avoid a higher stim, the big discomfort, and run away from that. Okay? So if you make a fire in your fireplace and a kid comes and touches the fire, what he will do? He'll run away and he will remember never touch the fireplace again. That's it. Because the discomfort is so high that creates a lot of stress and he doesn't want to do that anymore. And more I'm training, less and less and less I'm doing a high stress like this. That means aversive stim. Because aversive are for some behaviors okay, but most of the time it's not good. Classical and instrumental conditioning. Classical conditioning means combining two stims together. The best situation can be clicker. And the first signal has to be new. So the clicker is first, and on the second signal, I can give my dog, I can give the clicker, and after clicker, till 3 seconds, I have to reward for that. I have to give him something. And I do repetition. Click, food, click, food, click, ball, click, ball. Within 3 seconds, that becomes combination in the brain. And the first signal, clicker, or the dog later, means reward. Is that correct? Yes. It can be the same. When you take your dog for a walk, you open the door and you say, run. New signal, open the door, and the old signal, run. You open the door, run. Open the door, run. Open the door, run. What the dog will do in the next moment, what he will anticipate when you open the door. He wants to run. Because that's classical conditioning. If you do it within 3 seconds, he will combine it together and he wants to go. If you go for a search in the building and you do twice time, you shoot inside, boom, boom, and you let the dog for a bite, and you do it 5 times, what he will do in the 6th time? He will start to bark and yell. And then you are thinking, what the fuck? I don't want my dog to be barking when I'm shooting. But you create that. So if you shoot, boom, boom, laugh. If you shoot, pum, pum, kill. If you shoot, pum, pum, sniff. Then later the shooting doesn't mean go for a bite. If you do too much shooting, bite, then later you have to kill your dog to shut up when you go to the building. And you don't want your dog to bark all the time. So he has to bark when you say. But if you already create shooting, barking, you can also create bark, shoot. And then later you have a command bark, and then the dog will anticipate starts barking on your cue, it's not only about killing that barking, maybe it's about naming that. Because if the behavior is spontaneously from the dog, it's very strong behavior. If he thinks that he invents the behavior, it's his own behavior, he will fight for it. Oh, instrumental conditioning, operant, sorry, it has to be. Operant conditioning. Everything starts from spontaneous behavior. And you can reward that behavior, or you don't want that behavior to happen again. If you want that behavior, you can reward it by giving something positive, by adding small stimuli, by giving negative reinforcement. You can also reward it by nepo-po reinforcement. That means you give a small stim, and then after a few seconds you give a click and reward. To make that behavior happen again. But everything starts from spontaneous behavior. Because if you have a puppy, you know nothing about what you want. It always starts from spontaneous behavior. You have to teach them from the scratches. And if you don't want it, you can ignore, you can wait. But for some of the dogs, you can wait till he dies and still feel good. That's why you have a second option, that's high stim, converse it, stop that shit. Don't do that anymore. That's why you have to be very carefully what you teach your dog. Maybe in search and rescue and l'avalanche, they love when the dog is digging. Yes? With the dogs for explosive, you hate digging. So you have to immediately, boom, stop that shit. But the dog for the search and rescue, for l'avalanche, he has to love to dig, to go inside to survive. Then we have positive and negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is you do something and add nice feelings. Okay? Negative reinforcement is little, nagging, unpleasant stim stops when the dog do what you want him to do. Or it stops when there is intention. Also, small stim can be together with the behavior that the dog does to make it stronger and better. I always said that in positive training, most of the time, not 100%, you create motivation. If you use more negative reinforcement, you squeeze that motivation, you control that motivation, that energy. If you can concentrate that motivation to do what you want, that's perfect. That's why we always start with the puppy from a lot of positive. A lot. That creates hooligans. That creates motivation. That creates energy. And if you have a lot of energy, you can concentrate that energy on what you want. It's the same with us. It's not about doing, but about consistency. And to do it daily, you have to have a lot of energy. Then we have shaping and luring. Shaping and luring, that's the type of the training that we can use to teach the dog behaviors. Shaping means the dog has to find his own way to do a behavior. And the small, simple steps. To do a shaping, you have to have a very good signal, very good clicker. Because in shaping, the dogs have to find his own behavior by himself. You just wait and you click and reward everything what the dog does. I like in the shaping, not behaviors, I like when I have create motivation from inside from the dog. At the beginning, it's not about behaviors, it's about ignition from the inside. Because once the dog has ignition, you can press a little bit and go straight what you want. But ignition comes, if ignition comes from the inside, it's much stronger than you say, hey, do it. Second thing is, it's luring. And the luring is to make a dog a little bit stupid, to watch your reward, and if he watches your reward, he just follows everything what you show. Sit, down, stand, heel, right, here, under, forward. Okay? That not creates a smart dog. That will create a stupid dog. A little bit. 100%? No, not 100%. Most of the time, yes. Because reward creates behavior. In the shaping, behavior gives later reward. So in shaping, first have to be a behavior. Then he can get the reward. In luring, first you have to have a reward to create a behavior. Okay? And shaping, at the beginning, is very slow. Because they think. And if they think, they go slowly. In shaping, it's not so easy to focus your dog in one spot. Because they think all the time like this. What do I have to do? It's very difficult to stop them in one place. In luring, when they watch the reward, what they will do? Boom! They will stop like this. With the luring, you can go very fast to reflex response. With the reward, with the luring, you can go very fast to technique. To be perfect in that place, to be perfect in here, to be perfect from the beginning with a high speed. Okay? But after that, you have to take away your reward. And you have to do it without that reward. So you have to go from the luring to the moment that he has to do, and after that, he can take the reward. Okay? And for some people, that's impossible. They always come back for the training, and they only can show the dog the ball, and then he will come back. If there is no ball in your hand, he said, fuck you. Luring is very good to make immediately a lot of repetition. That creates the reflex response. And the end of the training is reflex response. So at the end, dogs should not think too much. They should do what you say. But the road is very different. Me personally, I like to do both. Because I know that shaping is good, and I know that luring is good. But I think it's like 80% to 20. 80% shaping, 20% luring. That's what I like. My father, 100% shaping. He hates luring. If he hears luring, he is angry. He hates that. That's his style. So, then later, what kind of tools we can use? We already talked about the ball, and we can talk a little bit about the food. What's the difference? Ball gives a high drive most of the time with the working dog lines. Is that correct? When they see the ball, they want to go. But if you want to use the ball for a reward, the dog has to go for the ball, come back to you. If you say out, you have to spit it out, and then you can do another repetition. Is that correct? And a lot of dogs don't like to give the ball. And first of all, you have to teach the dog to give you the ball. If you say out, you have to out. If you say hold, you have to hold. With the food, it's much different. Food, for most of the dog, is not such a high drive. It's a lower drive. That makes them think more. In the lower drive, you can teach your dog a little bit better. And then later you can add a high drive, and they will combine it. With the food, you can give room service. That means if you sit, I come, and I give. You can make your dog lazy like that. If you go and give one piece, he will sleep. But if you do click release, come to me, I give you 20 pieces. And then after a second repetition, I give you one piece and throw. That creates motivation, more gasoline, more excitement. So with food, you can have a lot of things. It depends how much. It depends if you throw. It depends if you give a lot. It depends if you click release. It depends if you go and give. Okay? For me, at the beginning, it's always better to have more motivation. That's why quick release works better. After that, to stop the dog to make him calm, maybe if you go for a socialization, you don't want your dog to run away, to be everywhere. You want him, what? Sit and wait. That's why it's better to give a room service. One piece. One piece. Because if you don't have a food drive, and your dog is excited, what can you use to make him calm? Give him a ball? Yeah, you can try. It works 3 times. Yeah. Okay. You can use a pinch collar. Yeah, you can try. He can bite you. He can make more noise. He can start to bark. He can be more excited. You can take a choker. Yes, you can. But at the end, he can also bite you. So the room service creates more stability, makes more calmness. That's why it's very good to have more motivation, more than only a ball, more than only a tug. That creates your bond with the dog, a training system better. You have more tools, you can use more tools, and that creates more success. What you can also do, you can have a clicker as a marker, and you can tell your dog by a clicker, finish, come to me, I give, and you can have a marker that says, yes, stop in that one place, I come to you, and I pay. Yes, I come, and I pay. That means bridging, okay? Keep on going signal. You can have, with the clicker, release, and he can take something from the ground. You can have release, take the bite sweep. You can have release, ball. Take something from the ground. You can have also release, take the food from the box. But if you want to release your dog to take something from the ground, be careful. Because if you say your dog take something, he will take what he loves. Then you have less control on the behavior. If you want to say, take the ball, you have to take the ball, not the food. If you say, take the food, not the sleep, you have to have under control that, okay? I saw a lot of people start with click, I give my dog something from me. And after 3 repetitions, the ball is there. They say, click, click, and what the dog does, boom, what's the ball? And they let the dog take the ball, and you're lost. Because you don't have control. You have to have everything at the end on control, on cue. If you want your dog to take the ball, you have to say a different command. You cannot expect from the dog that on one signal, on one click, he will do 5 things. No, one signal, one behavior. One signal, one behavior. If you say sit, what you want from dog? He will sit. So if you click, you cannot expect from the dog to find something. He has to do what you teach him to do. Later, what tools we can have also? We can have our body language. That's very common, especially in positive work. I will take this. You can have a body language. If you are very, how to say, if you have tough character, and most of you guys I think are like that, our body language a lot of time is, come on fight. It's a lot of times. Because that creates more ego. When you stand like this, in front, and a lot of puppies can see, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? That's why the body language can also give a pressure and not give a pressure. Okay? You can make more fun with body language, and you can press with the body language. Hey, stop it! That creates immediate, okay, I don't have to. Hey, good boy, come on, jump. That creates more positive. Okay? So with the body language, you can also create more energy, and you can control the energy, control the behavior. That's very common. And that's something that I hate at the beginning of my dog training. I hate that. Bart told me, Clint Eastwood, because I was always like that. No movement. You have to do, that's it. Right now, I know that I'm better because I add something to my skills. And my skills are better when I move a little bit for some type of dogs, in certain type of training. Then later we can have a stick. And the stick can be a negative reinforcement as an acceleration. If there is a ball, you can say, forward, boom, attack, boom, ball, boom. You can give a small stim to go. But you can also give a stim to go killing. With the stick, you can have boundaries next to you. In the front, in the left, whatever you do. The dog will not go too far, because if he goes too far, the stick will stay back. Okay? With the stick, you can, after the correction that dogs have to do with you, you can give him a reward. Take it, come back and play with me. Me personally, I love the stick. Not this type. I like the whips from the horse training because they're much softer, and then the dogs, some dogs love it to fight with that stick. That's a good motivation for the dog. Just click, click, and kick his ass, and they love that.
Yeah, no, my dog will
I
love
also have to be careful because last 2 weeks ago I had a dog on my bicep because of that. So with everything you have to be ready to stop it. Michael played yesterday with Jax, and it was also like very close.
Yeah.
So what tools also I can have? And with the stick you can show your dog to watch on the left, watch on the right. With the stick you can have, good boy, you can pet him. And with the stick you can later accelerate. And with the stick you can say, stop that shit. So that's very nice tool. Me personally, I love it. Then we have a pinch collar. And the pinch collar gives good directions. That gives good, go straight, come back, stick, down, bend. That gives good directions. But also that can create aggression. That can create more noise from the dogs. Especially when I see German Shepherds with that. What they do? Whine immediately. But that's good for aggression. That's good for barking. That's good for